Okay, I guess I'm recording. I'm thinking I'm recording. Anyway, how are you today? I'm in, where am I? Rochelle, Illinois for the night. Load in the morning, heading down to Texas. With the long weekend, I get to go home. So I'll be home for about 3 days. And then after that, let's see, today's Wednesday night. I load Thursday morning, and then I'll be headed home, and I'll get in Thursday afternoon, evening. From there, we go, let's see, I'll be home Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday morning, Labor Day Monday, I'll have to head down to Texas from the house, but I'll get 3 days. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead of a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So anyway, yeah, looking forward to being home. I'm Pete. I professional driver, trucker, whatever you want to call us. Excuse the noise here. I'm in a truck stop, so you're going to hear quite a few trucks. Couple of reasons why I've started this channel, and just kind of introducing myself. Started driving in 2002. Graduated high school in 89. Went directly into the Army. Spent 3 years driving truck in the Army. Driving truck's something that I wanted to do since I was a wee little guy. Probably 8-9 years old. I blame Chris Christopherson and Jerry Reed for Smokey and the Bandit and Convoy. Those two are the ones that kind of got me going on it, but have always loved trucking. First generation truck driver in my family. Had a neighbor that ran a log truck, a little Jippo, a little small 5-truck outfit or something like that, running logs to the mills from the woods in Oregon. And so I grew up in Oregon, raised my kids in Oregon, spent 3 years in the military driving truck, got married at 19. By the time I was 21, I had 3 kids. Married for 27 years, 8 years post-divorce. After I got out of the military, I used the GI Bill and got a degree in diesel technology. Worked on trucks for about 9 years, and then basically through the 90s. And then in 2002, got my first professional driving job, hauling chips and sawdust and shavings from the wood mills to the paper mills in Oregon, pulling doubles, 40/20s, and twin 32s in a day cab, 105.5 gross on a 7 and 8 axle combination, depending on what types of trailers I was pulling. Spent a year doing that. Found out that I was not going to be able to support my family on the wages of a local job. I teamed with a guy, started over the road with Warner, did that for 6 months or so, and found out that I could change jobs and make almost twice the money, bumping the same docks with a different company. Other than the pay, I have nothing bad to say about Warner overall. That was 20 years ago. So you got to start somewhere. And the big boys are the ones that are best to start with. They have good training programs. You get a year under your belt with Swift or Warner, JB Hunt, Schneider, any of the big guys, and you can pretty much transfer from there. Some places are requiring 2 or 3 years, but if you have a clean record after 2 or 3 years over the road with anybody, it might not be the most fun over the road that you're going to do, but it gives you the experience to step into significantly higher pay. Also, you can go One of the things about the trucking industry is that it is very niche oriented. You've got a lot of different kinds of driving jobs. You've got local, you've got P&D, pickup and delivery for freight companies going from business to business, picking up and delivering freight. You've got line haul, which is more of the, you hook a set of trailers or a trailer and you go from one terminal to another to transfer the freight within that trucking company's system. And then you have other drivers that will deliver to the door. You've got fuel hauling, you've got agriculture, you've got bull hauling, you've got auto carrying, reefers, vans, flatbeds, step decks, heavy haul, RGNs. There's a lot of different ways of making money in trucking. I've been doing it for 23 years, and I spent the first 8 years doing just a company driver, working for different companies. My last company job was with an outfit that was contracted to Trader Joe's grocery stores on the West Coast. And basically I ran from Coburg, Oregon down to Stockton, California, where they had a distribution center. And then I would turn and bring loaded trailers back up. I bought my first truck in 2009. Went full independent under my own authority. And then ran for 5 years under my own authority. Leased on to a company, and all of these terms, ask questions, whatever, in the comments if you have any questions. To me, a full independent is someone who runs their own DOT number, does their own compliance, books their own loads, chases their own money. Everything is that person. A lease operator, which is what I am now and have been for 10 years, you lease your truck, trailer, and yourself to a company. And then you run under their numbers, their name, and you just use their system to make money. So instead of having to deal with compliance and brokers and chasing money and all of those types of things, the company that I'm leased to takes care of all of the backroom stuff. And so I need to concentrate on figuring out what loads I want to take, what are most profitable for me, maintaining my truck. You learn lanes, you learn where the freight is flowing, where the rates are, where they are not. If you're taking something into Helena, Montana, it better pay good, because most likely you're going to be deadheading hundreds of miles back out to find a load out of there. Same with Southern Florida. But Chicago, if you can get in, you can get out. Chicago usually pays pretty good. My company is based in Kentucky, and that's kind of their cream. You get into Kentucky and you can find something out. Different companies specialize in different things. Reefer, I referred to that earlier. That's a refrigerated van. They're an insulated dry van that's got a air conditioning unit mounted to the front of the trailer, and then basically it just air conditions the trailer. The doors are insulated, everything is insulated, and you can get the sucker down to 10 degrees below zero for ice cream if you need to. They're heavier, so you can't haul as much, but you can do produce, you can do yogurt, you can do dairy, anything that needs to be refrigerated or temperature controlled is what the reefers are for. The dry vans, I've pulled a lot of dry vans, and they're what they look like, what they sound like, just a van. Trailer, roll-up doors or swing doors, 48s, 53s, 45s, the pups are the 28 foots that you see behind UPS out on the interstates, the line haul stuff, ABF, FedEx. Depending on the state, you can pull up to 3 of them behind you if you're permitted for it. I'm not, so I only pull doubles. But your standard van going down the road, reefer or dry van, is typically a 53 footer. That's kind of the industry standard. But this is my second video, and I'm just kind of putting myself out there. A number of reasons why I wanted to do this. I was thinking what it would be like to be able to see a video of my grandfather at 50 years old talking about his life and what he does and his travels and his goods and bads and ups and downs and that type of thing. And so I hope one day my grandkids would be able to do the same. There's a lot of people right now, May of 25, as I start this whole channel, that feel very alone, and don't feel like they have anything to offer the world. And I would like to disagree with you, because everybody out there is valuable. Everybody has their own perspective based on their own experience, which no one else in the world has. And so you are valuable in sharing those things. Your example is more than you'll ever know. More people are watching you than you think. And you can be a good example or a bad example, but regardless, you're going to be an example. Whether you're 50, whether you're 20, whether you're 80, or whether you're 10, you're going to be an example. People are going to look at you and say, that was very kind of him, or he was a little craphead. Those types of things are something that need to be thought about in your daily actions, in your daily routines. Are you known as a kind person, or are you known as an angry, short fuse to anger? Who are you, and who do you want to be? Because you have the control to do that, and you're the only one. You're the only one that can change where you are, can change how you look at the world, and can change your situation. When you're young, you don't have much control over the situation that you're in. If your folks split, if you don't have a dad, if you don't have a mom, if you don't have very good parents, all of these things you have no choice in. But as you grow up and you move out of the house, or even if you're grown still in the house, you have choices. And those choices put you where you are today. And different choices can change where you are tomorrow. So if you're in a good place today, that's because of the choices that you have made. And if you're in a bad place, those are choices that you have made. I've been in both, and those are because of the choices that I have made. And the only way to get out of that bad place and into a better place is by changing the choices that you've made. You make the same choices, you're going to get the same results. And so if you're moving forward, and the choices that you are making is adding up and moving you forward towards a goal, towards a place that you want to be, then keep going. But if you're not where you want to be and you're not moving towards where you want to be, then think about the choices that you're making. And unless you change those choices, you're not going to change where you are. And your choices also change who you are. Because I'm not the same person I was at 20. Age changes a person, but your choices do too. Because you are influenced by those around you. You're influenced mentally, physically, spiritually by what you feed on. If you're feeding on things that are not beneficial, then you will get no benefit out of them. You've only got so many years, you've only got so many days, and in order to make the most of what you've got, change the choices that you're making. I'm 54. I don't feel 54. I don't think about being 54 unless I'm looking in a mirror. But that's what I am. And those things that have gotten me to where I am today are my own choices. Okay, for better, for worse. I am happy where I am today. There were times where I never thought I'd be happy again. But, and I guess happy is the wrong word. I'm content where I'm at. Because happiness comes and goes. You're never always going to be happy. You can choose to be happy. But being satisfied, being content where you are while working towards your goals, it's a good place to be. So anyway, back to the reasons why. I've got some notes here, and I guess they really, if anything I say offends you, that really is a whole nother video, because you're taking offense. And again, that's a choice. That's what you're choosing to do. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, then disregard it. And it's just that simple. Life is like that. If someone says something to you to put you down, to make you feel bad, are you going to let it? Are you going to let somebody else control your emotions, your day, how satisfied you are? And this is something I've had to work on a lot, because, I get cut off in traffic 50 times a day, at least. And I get people that come up and whip over in front of me, slam on their brakes to make the right turn because they didn't want to have to wait the extra 4 seconds for me to get past the driveway that they were going to pull into. That is normal. And one of the things that driving has taught me is patience. And to combine patience with vigilance, because you can spend hours going down the road and nothing happens. And all of a sudden, everything breaks loose in front of you. And what do? Is there a car beside you? Were you paying attention? Is there an out? Is the median open? How heavy are you? What's the weather like? Road conditions, all of these things are things that you have to maintain, and you have to not only be aware of, but to maintain as you go down the road. Conditions change, traffic density changes, weather changes, road surfaces change, temperatures change. And especially in the fall and the winter, early spring, you can be running with road spray and it's just wet, and a mile down the road, you're on glass. Now what do you do? Those types of things to be aware of where you are today is really important. And in life, where are you today? It's not where you're going to be in 3 years, regardless of what you think. I never thought that I would be where I'm at today, but I am content where I am, and I think that's where God wants me to be. And so even without, the big guy looking at you, if you don't believe in him, if you do, regardless of that, you're not going to be where you think you're going to be in 10 years. But the choices that you make between now and then is what's going to put you there. And good choices, bad choices, I'll start eating better tomorrow. One more time slipping through McDonald's or whatever. Those choices add up. I'm not going to go for a walk. I'm not going to go for a run. I'm not going to do any push-ups. Everybody talks about going to the gym. You don't have to go to the gym. You've got your own body weight. You can use that, push-ups, sit-ups, squats. Yeah, you don't need a gym. But you do need to be consistent, and you need to be determined. I'm not here to motivate you or anything else, but I'm hoping that at the end of this video, you'll have a little food for thought. And whether you disagree with me and think I'm a total idiot, or whether it's, oh, well, maybe I hadn't looked at it like that. That's what I'm here for, is just to help you to look at things differently. Perspective is everything. But I Googled some stuff just about the trucking industry. And as you can tell, I'm talking to people that I'm assuming have never been around the trucking industry. These are things that I didn't know growing up. Even though I was interested in trucking, the encyclopedia that was the major Google back then didn't cover trucking very well. But today you're at an advantage because you've got the knowledge of the world at your fingertips. And I'm sure at times you're like me, let's watch cat videos, or let's watch sharks, or let's do this or that, or whatever. When you've got the entire compilation of the knowledge acquired by humanity for the last thousands of years at your fingertips. I'm trying to get better at using that, at downloading books on my phone and listening to audiobooks. I do audiobooks a lot. It really works for me to help the miles go by. I put in 8,000 to 10,000 miles a month usually. I've got over 2 million in my career. But, so I have time to listen. What am I going to watch? What am I going to listen to? Am I going to listen to a fictional sci-fi book, which I enjoy and I have several hundred of them in my library? Or am I going to look up Kipling or Longfellow or history? I've gotten into history a lot more recently, and I really enjoy it. But spend your time wisely. If you are working out, what are you consuming? Your consumption influences what you become. You are what you eat. Well, you are what you think. You are what you put into your mind. If you're putting bad things in your mind, you're going to get bad thoughts. It's going to change your thinking. And so be careful what you put in your head. But getting back to the trucking industry, I just Googled a bunch of stuff. Life is Googleable, and so I do a lot of Googling. And again, you can't take everything as fact. Careful where your sources come from. But overall, I figured these numbers aren't there's no need to really research and double check sources and all of this kind of garbage. So anyway, trucking industry. There's about 3.6 million truck drivers. This is in the U.S. This is all dealing with the U.S. trucking industry. Your average salary is about $65,000. It's the 6th most dangerous job in the U.S. If your truck rolls, if you go over sideways, there's a 50-50 chance you're not coming out of it. These are just things to think about. If you've ever thought about driving a truck, if you've ever thought, when you drive around a truck and you cut him off and he swerves to keep from killing you, ends up rolled over in the ditch, you might have just killed somebody. Those are things to really be conscious of out there driving. You can stop in a car a lot quicker than a truck can. Okay, we're big, we're slow, we accelerate slowly, we decelerate slowly. And like everybody when driving, the 1 second you reach down for your coffee cup or to change the book you're listening to or whatever, that's when it's going to hit the fan. And so just be conscious of who's around you, how much weight is around you, because physics are physics. And if you pull in front of a big truck and slam on your brakes or pull out in front of a big truck, bad things tend to happen. So anyway, back to trucking. Let's see. 97%, according to Google, of trucking companies have under 20 trucks, which kind of blew me away. Having been in the industry for decades, you see Swift, you see J.B. Hunt, you see Schneider, you see Maverick, flatbed operation out of Arkansas. I think they're out of Arkansas. Anyway, you see the large company trucks, the large fleets. I'm sitting next to a Swift truck. You tend to see them everywhere, and so you think that they're the majority of the industry. But 97% are small, and myself, a single truck operation. So it's just something to think about. 6% are women, commercial drivers. The median age is 46, and part of that is because you can't start driving until you're 23 or 25, depending on the insurance policies of the companies that you're looking to apply to. I think there's some pilot programs for 18-year-olds, but honestly, in my opinion, I don't believe that you have enough maturity at that age to deal with what you have to deal with out on the road. So anyway, my 2 cents worth. 51% of us smoke, which makes sense. We sit in a chair for 10 hours and, it's something to pass the time. I smoke. Of the average population in the U.S., only 19% of people smoke. So, yeah, that was an interesting one for me. 72% of all freight is moved by truck. So we can be frustrating. We can be idiots. But we are needed. 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, something like that. New York City without trucks. And New York City is out of food. Okay, everything you wear, everything you buy at a store has all been moved by trucks. So when we're in your way, when the driver slows down in front of you because he's looking for an address he's never been to and looking for the truck entrance, and knowing that if he misses the turn, it's going to be a nightmare trying to get turned back around, cut us some slack, please, because it's not fun. It's not fun. But one of the things that I also am going to touch on in future videos is if you want to become a driver, what it takes, what it's like. It's not Smokey and the Bandit. It's not Jerry Reed running over bikers at a biker bar. Harley's in front of a biker bar. It's not running from the cops. It's not Convoy. It's not Hollywood. It's long hours behind the wheel. Again, being patient to get to where you're going, because if you got a 1,500 mile run, you got to go 1,500 miles. And when you're doing, 60 miles an hour, that's a mile a minute. So that's a lot of hours behind the wheel to make that 1,500 mile run. And so patience is very necessary. But then you have to maintain your vigilance too. I try and always know what's out my mirrors. Where are vehicles around me? Is there a line of cars coming up on me? Is there slower trucks in front of me? Are there trucks pushing me? Is there something on the shoulder? Is there a gator in the road? Is there... all of these things are constantly changing. And so it's always a challenge to maintain your awareness. Remember, you're not in a video game. You're not just, this isn't a screen in front of you that you're playing a game at. This is life and death for everyone around you. But it's also fun. I enjoy what I do. It's become a kind of a love-hate thing because I've got 3 acres and a bass pond at home, which is my home. And I love to go home to my girlfriend and my 9-year-old boy. And I just love to spend time with them. But you got to pay the bills. And so I owe, so off to work I go. And when I go to work, it can be 2, 3, 4 weeks before I get home. And it depends on freight, it depends on rates, it depends on volume. You get into where you've always got a load booked in front of you, and that is good, but it's exhausting. On the other hand, if you don't have the loads in front of you, then it's the mental mess of, okay, where am I going to go? What do I do? Making the decisions, do I take this load that doesn't pay as much to get moving and make a little bit, as opposed to waiting for a better paying load? It's always, you're always juggling the things that you want. Is it a load that gets me home? Is it a load that I can stop by the home like this one is? I'm loading in Rochelle, Illinois, and I get 3 days at the house. And then I'll leave Monday, deliver. I've already got a load out of Texas that's going back up to St. Louis. So it's one of those things that nothing's ever perfect. But to make the most of what you've got is what you've got, And the mental ups and downs, the physical exhaustion, all of those things come into play. And I ain't getting any younger. And, but on the other hand, for those who are driving currently and you've got a dispatcher or a broker that's pushing you, if you get tired, pull over. No load is worth you upside down in the ditch with a 50% chance of surviving. No load is worth that. Okay? Get your rest. Don't go to the casinos. Don't go into the truck stop and sit up at the counter or the lunch bar BSing with all the other drivers until, midnight, and then try and get up at 4 o'clock to get going. You've only got 10 hours. And the logbook, that's another thing I'll get into down the road. It's as convoluted as you can get, but it's how we live. So anyway, I think that'll wrap us up here for this one. Thank you for being here. Appreciated your time, and we will see you again next time. Bye.